joining us now 1 day early, 1 hour early. She's just ahead of the curve this week. She is our connection to the A-list. It is Bonnie Laufer.
Hi, Bonnie.
Hi, guys. Yeah, I'm not just flattening the curve. I'm ahead of the curve.
Whoa.
Ooh, yes, you're on it, girl.
We're all stressed out. We all have to take a breath. It is what it is. And I'm here to try and make your TV viewing life a lot easier.
Please.
What can I tell you?
Please do that.
What can I tell you? So there's lots going on. I mean, before we get into what's streaming and, what we all want to watch, and we can talk about what our favorite things are and stuff, I want to kind of give a good shout out to some of the celebrities out there right now, because they are really trying their best, obviously. But they're in the same boat we are. We're all human people. Yeah, it just goes to show you that celebrities are not Teflon. They're humans, just like us. And they're really trying to make the best out of, the situation as well. And, some of them are going online and giving us free concerts. Yesterday it was John Legend.
Yep.
I don't know so much about the Chrissy Teigen sitting there in her, her towel, but whatever,
Okay,
whatever.
she got itchy in her gown. She had to change.
Anyways, it was fine. I'm not dissing her. It's kind of funny, right? Whatever. It's all good. And then, of course, Chris Martin from Coldplay. You have Catherine McPhee and her hubby David Foster giving us a concert. Listen, they're just trying to do what they can to help people de-stress. And there's one thing that caught my eye the other day, me being such a big theater and Broadway fan. And Laura Benanti, she's a huge actress. Actually, I love her. She used to be on Nashville for a bit, too. And but big, huge Broadway actress. And she's so generous. She put a challenge out there because she was just devastated for all the students out there that have worked so hard the whole year to put on their musicals and end-of-year plays. And I have to tell you that, when I was in high school, I directed my school musical, which was Godspell. And it was the highlight of my year. I mean, just being able to put that out there and seeing everybody love it so much and everything. So when she put out this challenge, I just already started crying. I was like, oh, God bless you. And she got so many kids and just unbelievable amount of videos coming in, people putting on their plays or just sections of it, or people just performing Broadway tunes. And she's literally watching every single one and then, shouting back out to people. I think this is so amazing.
That is so awesome. And I got to tell you, I totally get it. I got to be in my senior year, I was in Into the Woods, playing Jack from Jack and the Beanstalk.
Amazing.
And this is while I was doing Degrassi. Was the one thing I was able to schedule-wise do was to actually do our school musical. And in retrospect, it still means so much to me. It is an absolute bonding, makes you feel like there's a connection with your year, especially if you're leaving high school. I think that's a wonderful thing to do for people who put so much work. I mean, the sets you make for a high school musical are intense.
Yeah.
And the people that are all your friends are involved in so many different levels, and that's great. I really appreciate that a lot.
As a matter of fact, like a couple. I went to Forest Hill, so I did the play there, and I have to tell you that some of the actors that in the school play, at that point there was a grade 13, but grade 11, 12, 13, whatever, have gone on to become actors. And I'm not sure if you know who Darren Baker is, but Darren is, he does a lot of work. He ended up going to Broadway. And to this day, he still continuously sends me emails or just notes on Facebook. And he goes, because of you, I became an actor. And I'm like, you know what? That makes me feel so good.
That's so great.
Yeah. So it's just stuff like that. And so what Laura is doing, and now I think Jennifer Garner has gone ahead and put out a challenge as well to get people to put out videos and things like that. And it just gives the kids something to do to take their mind and make them feel like, you know what, this hasn't gone to waste.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
I think it's wonderful.
That's wicked.
So good on them, and let's. And by the way, I just love watching some of these performances. Yeah. It's so awesome to watch them, and these kids are talented.
I can remember, back in my high school days. I mean, as it still is today, but arts were the first things getting cut, right? Anytime there was budgets, anytime there was, and I remember as a kid feeling like I was expendable to the school system because they didn't care. Like, I knew from a young age I was going to be a performer and that this was the rest of my life. And they were like, no, you're not important. We don't care about you. We're going to cut that from the budget. And I think, that is still happening so much today. And then to have this situation take away like the last vestiges of performance for some kids is really hard. And so what a beautiful thing to do. And yes, so many people are stepping up. The Arkells are doing music lessons online. Jan Arden did a great concert. Like, a lot of Canadians are stepping up to the plate as well and offering some sort of back and forth and or entertainment or showcasing of stuff, which I think is, it's beautiful.
Yeah, the other night was, or last night actually, it was Choir, which I thought was amazing. They put out a call. I actually went online for a little bit and watched it, where I think they got at least 10,000 people from around the globe watching them, and then they made them put themselves on Facebook so that they could go live and then people could sing along with them. And it was just so much fun to watch that,
That's awesome.
And they sent a song sheet so people could download the words to the songs and sing along. Like, you know what? People are just trying to be as creative as possible and helpful. And no one's saying, hey, for $10, all da-da-da. Nothing. Like, it's all for free, and it's lovely. It really just helps a little bit to forget about the stress that we're all under right now.
Totally.
So, So another thing that obviously will help with your stress levels a little bit is watching, doing my favorite activity, sitting on my butt and watching television. Like,
I love it too.
It's fun. Anytime.
Exactly. And listen, today there are just so many options out there where you don't have to leave your home. So many streaming options. So I made a list of a few things. First off, before we get to that though, I want to do a shout out to some of the movie studios who of course are in dire straits as well because they've had to stop production on everything, and all movies that were going to be released in theaters, of course, now have we don't know when they're going to be released until this is all over. I would be talking to you today about A Quiet Place or Mulan, movies that I was supposed to see this week, and they've all been put on hold. And so what Universal has started to do is they're putting a lot of their brand new films that literally just hit theaters like a week or so ago. They are all going to be available on video on demand this Friday. So you're going to get movies like The Invisible Man, The Hunt, Cats, for all of you who would like to watch Cats.
I so want to see Cats so badly.
Well,
it's going to be the best garbage viewing I've like. It's going to be so bad and so great. I know it. I'm going to love it so much.
Can we just say though, Bonnie, it would be remiss to mention Cats without mentioning what is happening on social media right now, which is a demand for the butthole cut of Cats. Because the producers admitted that they had the CGI people go through the movie and erase cat butt holes.
Wait, they gave them cat buttholes?
I guess so. And people are demanding a cut. They're like, listen, in this pandemic times, we need that butthole cut.
You know what?
That's what they're calling
There's
it.
some 15-year-old that's working on it right now in his basement. He's just like, it'll be out there soon enough. It'll be more awful than we can ever imagine.
Well, did you see Seth Rogen's tweet this morning,
No.
everybody?
What was it? Oh,
So
yes.
It's pretty funny. I mean, he got, we know he likes to smoke his weed.
Yeah, he got a little stoned.
He got a little stoned and watched the whole movie and gave us commentary. So, and listen, hey, God bless him. You know?
Funny.
Yeah, and now he is also demanding the butthole cut because they I don't know why would they even. So I guess a writer said that his friend was hired to remove CGI buttholes from the cats.
But I don't understand. So this was a first cut. They said let's make them as anatomically correct as possible.
They tried to make them
ways.
as cat-like as possible, and then went, oh no, this is upsetting.
Yeah, I don't want to see Judi Dench's.
I do.
No. No. Different strokes.
To each his own, exactly.
Yeah, I'm not planning to watch Cats ever
Are you
because
serious?
I can't. I don't. It's going to be too bad. I can't handle it.
No.
But you put those butts back in,
You might.
Maybe.
You
I
might?
will watch.
Okay.
I will watch.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll keep you abreast if I hear anything about that.
Thank
I'll
you.
let you.
Thank you.
But yeah, like I said, so you can even see Harley Quinn, like all these movies that literally just opened. Emma, like, you'll be able to access them.
They're just up on Apple on like iTunes now.
Video on demand.
Video on
If you
demand.
just Google, yeah, it'll give you a whole list of places where you're going to be able to get it. I believe it's like, hold on, let me just, I saw this somewhere. You can get it on iTunes, Prime Video, Fandango Now, Google Play, whole bunch of options for digital copy. Yeah.
It'll be on Apple too.
Yeah, you know what? I just want to mention The Hunt. You mentioned that. Talk about a film that just can't catch a break.
Yeah.
That was the film that came out, I think, during the last mass shooting, and it was about. It's got a very sort of red-blue thing going on. So it totally got removed from. It was supposed to come out the next week, right? I think we all remember the sort of a commercial blitz that was going on.
Absolutely, yeah.
And
it
now,
got tons of bad press before it came out.
but people were like, "It's going to be an experience." What and I think it also got blown up as far as being way too political when it's really just like a slasher film in a lot of ways. And then it gets hit again with this. It just because it was just about to be released, right? I mean, no luck for. Maybe it's not supposed to be seen. Maybe it's supposed to be buried.
Yeah. Yeah, well, if people do want to see it, will be available on video on demand, so you can catch it that way.
Right.
People are revisiting old movies that they've seen before or a million times, whatever they can find. I mean, Netflix has a great selection of old films, things that we've seen a gazillion times. For example, even old series. Like, there's a lot of people out there, believe it or not, that have never seen shows like Scandal or Grey's Anatomy or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They've got all seasons, like right back from day one.
Oh, that's a lot of TV.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that's like, 15, 16 seasons, something like that. So that will keep you on your behind for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, so let's start with a couple of the streaming services. We'll go with Disney Plus because, of course, a lot of people have little kids at home, and everything is kid-friendly on Disney Plus. They released Frozen 2 3 months earlier, so that just came out the other day on Disney Plus screening.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, and so, of course, parents are already, like, Jimmy Kimmel is hilarious. A lot of the late-night guys are now doing their shows from home. And he just made me laugh so hard because he has, young ones at home, a little daughter, of course, and he says, I have watched Frozen 2 more times now than the animators who made the movie have seen it. Like, I mean, it's just so funny. So that is available. And there's a new movie called Stargirl, which is, really delightful. This stars Grace Vanderwaal, and people might remember her. She won America's Got Talent. She's a very talented young artist and very sweet. So this is like a, little coming-of-age YA film. Brand new, just hitting Disney Plus this week. There's just so content on Disney, all the old Disney movies.
Yeah,
I am a massive fan of Disney Plus. I you know what? We got it for, I think, The Mandalorian, and you just fall into a Disney Plus vortex of old memories of and you know what? It's a lot of stuff for the kids, but there's a lot of stuff in there that's sort of like they're touchstone films that are a little bit more adult and that are totally nostalgic and super fun. I'm really impressed. I really thought Disney was going to blow this one, and they really pulled it off nicely.
Yeah, I agree. And they're adding tons of new talent, content. There's a great show with, back to the school musicals, but with Kristen Bell. She's gathering people from their old high schools and bringing them back together like 20 years later to put on the plays that they put on in high school. I think that's so cool.
Super cool.
I love it.
That's another show too. So there's lots to see on Disney Plus. Then of course my best friend Netflix. Listen. Oh my God.
My best friend.
Seriously, that's kind of sad about my BFF Netflix. If you guys have not, if people have not seen shows like The Crown, Mindhunter, Unbelievable, these are series that, of course, are, a little heavier in scope, but really excellent quality watching shows. I just finished one called The Five. I've now moved on to those British crime thriller shows.
Right.
So, The Five was really good. I really enjoyed it. There's one called Safe with Michael C.
Hall.
Yeah, I was right, Michael C. Hall.
Also, those are both Harlan Coben
Yes.
Based
and
on
The
books by
Stranger.
Harlan Coben, who's one of my favorite authors on the planet.
Right.
Cool.
So I've watched The Stranger, and I've watched all three, and The Five, and Safe. They're all good. The Five has really good people in it too, and it has one of the stars of *Handmaid's Tale*, who I had no idea was even British. He plays Luke on *Handmaid's Tale*. I'm like, what? Like, oh my goodness! So it all came to Tom Cullen is in it, and really good cast. Really, that was a good one. And then if you just want mindless, you don't have to think about it stuff. There's plenty of that on Netflix as well. Things like, of course, Queer Eye. I mean, I could watch those ones over and over for sure. Nailed It is a lot of fun. People have to make cakes that they're supposed to replicate cakes, but they always turn out like garbage, and it's really, really fun to watch.
Yeah. Big props to Nicole Byer, who hosts the show, who keeps it really fun.
She's fantastic. Yeah, she's a lot of fun. Like her a lot. And then there's, series that are going to be continuing new seasons. So Ozark, for fans of Ozark, you'll be happy to know that on March 27th, that's next week, season 3 is coming to Netflix, so you can look forward to that. A lot of people have been waiting a time for another series, episodes of Ozark, so, that's a really popular series to watch on Netflix. And then I got an opportunity to watch a couple of things that are coming out that I got some pre-content for. So here's a couple that I'm going to recommend. One is coming out this Friday, and it's called Self-Made, inspired by the life of Madam C.J. Walker. And this stars Octavia Spencer. Mm-hmm. It's a 4-part series, so it's really easy to watch, like 4 50-minute episodes. So it's like a mini-series. And it's really cool. It's the inspiring story of a trailblazing African-American entrepreneur named Madam C.J. Walker, real person. And she built a hair care empire that made her America's first female self-made millionaire. So she's in the Guinness World Book. Like, it's really
I think we had one of the young actresses from that show there a little while ago.
Yeah. She's from here, and she was in it as well. So, so it's actually, I found it very interesting. Really good series.
Cool.
I like it. Yeah. What else we have? We have one called The English Game, also coming out on Friday. Now, this is created by Julian Fellows, who gave us Downton Abbey. So if anybody's interested how soccer started, you can watch this. It's a sports-centered drama. I have been really lucky. I got to have already seen Ricky Gervais's season 2 of Afterlife.
Oh, honestly, it's like my parents' favorite show. They loved it a lot. They love Ricky Gervais.
Yeah, I love Ricky Gervais too. And, for people who aren't really familiar with it, this is more of a dramatic turn for Ricky. He's written, he directs, like everything. He stars in it. And it's very easy watch because there's like 6 episodes in a season. So it's very fast, and they're like half-hour episodes. So it sets it up by, his wife has passed away from cancer, and she's left him video, and he goes back and he keeps talking, and he's having a really hard time. He goes back to work. He works with a small group of people, and they write a local newspaper, and it's heartbreaking. But he also, infuses his dry wit and humor. So sometimes you do find yourself laughing out loud. But I do have to recommend that if you are to watch season 2, it doesn't hit until April 24th. Have lots of Kleenex on hand. That's all I have to say.
Okay.
Yeah. It's so good, though, and it's just so heartwarming. And, I can't say enough about it. It's such a good series. So that's coming.
Cool.
Netflix also has a series called Unorthodox, which is based on a few years back. It's about a Hasidic young girl living in Brooklyn, based on a true story, who could not take it, and she escaped and ran away and got out. So the person who it's based on, she's involved with this series, but it's a little bit of creative, liberties.
Sure.
Yeah, but I watched it. I didn't think I was going to like it, but I really did. I really enjoyed it. It's another
very interesting.
Another 4-part series, so it's not a long watch. The girl who plays this young girl who escapes, who's been, married into this Orthodox family and gets away, she's in the show Shtisel, which is very popular also on Netflix too, and people will know her when they see her. So that's lots of stuff there on Netflix. So like I say, you just, not going to get off your behinds anytime soon.
No, and that's the thing. They just keep adding more things, right? Which is
I don't know how you keep up.
amazing.
Yeah. It's impossible. It's impossible to keep up.
Well, and now, Bonnie, we've only gone through two streaming services, and we have more, but we do need to take a quick break. Can you stay with us?
Problem. Of course I can. No problem.
We will be right back with our sweet bonbon, Bonnie Laufer, on The Breakdown, Channel 167, Canada Talks. We are joined by our sweet bonbon, Bonnie Laufer, and she is giving us her top picks for what to binge on all the streamies. Bonnie, we've done Disney Plus. We've done Netflix. What are you going to go with next?
Let's go with Amazon Prime. This is my second BFF, I think. Yeah, definitely. I have these friends in order, but they're all becoming very close friends to me, and I don't know what I would do without them, to be honest.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, right. So Amazon Prime, really what I love about Amazon Prime is not only can you get things delivered to your home faster, but you can watch some really good content if you are a member of Amazon Prime. So it's kind of worth it, I think, to join. And here's the other secret, too, about Amazon Prime. If you're on the fence about it and you're not sure, and especially with, in these times, you can order it for 30 days and then not have to pay. Like if you decide that you don't want to continue on,
Yeah.
You get that 30-day free option, and you can binge watch a lot of stuff in 30 days for sure.
Also, though, I will say this as a word of warning. That's what I did with Hayu, the reality streaming platform, and I keep forgetting about it. And luckily it's only $5.99, but I have been paying for it for months now.
Okay. Well, you have to keep, put a notice in your calendar.
Yes.
Like, time to unsubscribe or that kind of thing for sure. Otherwise,
Put an alarm in your phone.
Right. Exactly. Easy done. Easier, to do. So one of my favorites on Amazon Prime, my go-to is the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Oh gosh, such a great show.
Such a fan. Love it so much, especially, being surrounded by comedians, my wife being one of them. Allison, it's like, without interrupting, I'm sorry, but the one thing about that show is the comedy, the stand-up is the one thing that annoys my wife the most about that show. But the actual experiences of watching Maisel go through this is so still true and so charming. And it's that the last season just made me so happy.
Yeah, I agree, and they're getting stars like the most current season has Sterling K. Brown in there. And,
he's fantastic. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, what doesn't that guy do that
Totally.
is great? I mean, but he's in there, and I mean, this show has been winning award after award for Rachel Brosnahan, for Alex Borstein, for writing, for producing. It's brilliant, and the costumes alone and the sets.
That show is like a warm hug for adults. It is a total, I can sit and watch it and just feel cozy.
Yeah.
Even with like the heavy, they got some sort of semi-heavy stories on there, and I love it.
Yeah, I agree. So that's one if you guys haven't seen or you want to watch again, that's always fun to catch up on. There's also Jack Ryan with, everybody's favorite John Krasinski. When this was first announced, I thought, really? John Krasinski is Jack Ryan? But it works.
Oh, listen, I've watched both
Disagree.
seasons. You hate it?
No, I do not hate it. I've watched both seasons. I think that John Krasinski is the weakest link.
Okay, listen, Jack
Season
Ryan
one,
in general is kind of like, he's kind of like just the pin that like leads you on the story. I don't think Jack Ryan's ever been this.
How dare you? I mean, in the show, yes, but in other incarnations, no.
Okay, no.
But I'll say this. Season 1, Wendell Pierce carries on his back.
100%,
he does all of the work,
100%.
all the heavy lifting, and John Krasinski, I'm like, John Krasinski looks weird holding a gun. Season 2, I thought it got a bit, I got a little more into Krasinski, but for me, the bright, shiny light of season 2 was Alan Hocko. What?
Oh, yeah.
Which one's Alan Hocko?
He plays the guy, he wears the headband all the time,
Right.
Cobra.
Yes.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. He's
Jake
good.
Doyle showed up hardcore for this show, and it is exciting.
Right. Yes.
Yes.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah. So it's good. Listen, I guess I have to kind of agree. I really like John, but you know what? It is what it is. It's okay. But we'll let
Can
him.
I just say, I love John Krasinski.
No,
he is just not right for this role.
Okay, and listen, you know what? I do disagree. I think he's perfect for the role in a series version of this. I don't think, listen, since Harrison Ford, no one's really been able to pull this off in movie form. There's just not a lot of time. And Harrison Ford, for some reason, I think had the best scripts also that showed him around family that made sense, and the adventure was great, and the action was awesome, and you cared. I think for a series version, I think Krasinski does a good job at linking the show together. I don't know if I want to let me just say this, season 2, I did miss the fact that he didn't have his girlfriend from which is a linchpin in all the Clancy stories of Jack Ryan also. It's like they're supposed to get together, and
he needs his lady love.
Yeah, and that might have bothered me the most was, and also, but I love he has kind of the great interest in is the Swedish actress from
the original Girl with the Dragon Tattoo,
exactly
Numi Rapace.
who I'm
brilliant.
She's great.
Brilliant.
Loved it. So they saved themselves that way, but I do want them to get back to, I'd love for them to get back to Jack's wife.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe they will. You never know.
We're talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're not in production. Nothing's in production now, but we'll give them some ideas to look into for another season for sure. Yeah. Another show that's really popular on Amazon Prime. Now, I have to admit, I have not watched it yet, but I think I may hunker down and try it, is The Boys. Have you guys seen that?
Love it.
It's pretty wicked.
Love it.
All right.
Okay, again, I'll say this. The kind of the main guy in it is Jack Quaid, and I don't love him. But everything else about this show I love so much that it's like by the end of it I was like, yeah, whatever, he's fine. But in the beginning I was like, why? Why are we doing this guy?
Yeah. Okay. I have to, I'm going to watch it. I think that they are going to be giving us another season of that show for sure. It's very popular. So.
Oh, they have to. And Bonnie, it's honestly so great. It's so great.
Oh, good. Okay, so top of my list of things, I have a list of things I need to watch. So that is high.
Can I just say one thing that's on Amazon? That's one of those Grey's Anatomy with like 14 seasons that I sunk into a hole with. Is the old 80s version of Unsolved Mysteries. It is watch. It's like a time capsule of crazy, and it's just like that you can see by season 5 they've run out of real sort of unsolved mysteries about murders, and they've started working into like Bigfoot
UFOs.
UFOs, and like can people actually escape from Alcatraz? This whole episode's dedicated to swimmers trying to get away from Alcatraz, and can they make it across? And like it goes into some amazing territory. You got it. Like, honestly, it's a great time capsule of magazine style news shows, and it's really worth a watch.
Oh, cool. Okay, good. All right, so there's another one. And then, of course, on Amazon, which I could watch over and over, is Fleabag. Oh, so good.
The best.
Oh,
Makes me so happy. Once again, it's one of those shows that just feels, I don't know, because it's kind of a messy show, but it feels like a warm hug also.
Season 1, I will say, does not feel like a warm hug to me.
No?
If season 1 was unsettling, and then season 2, it's like things come full circle a little bit, right? And it was great. But it's like when you watch it as a whole, you go, yeah, this is a beautiful story arc. It's perfect.
You get to that point where the priest is recognizing that she's breaking the fourth wall, and it's that's what I mean, where it gets really cozy, where you're just like, we're all together, we're all in together.
Season 2 is what brings it home, right? And that's the thing. But it's brilliant. It's genius. It's
she's very watchable.
Oh, Phoebe Waller-Bridge is a genius.
She's lovely. I just, oh God, when I got to meet her earlier this year, I was
did?
I did. Yes, I was at the Critics' Choice Awards, and Allison knows very well that I had a mission of people that I wanted to go over and just say hi to or even get a picture. And so I went over to Phoebe. She was so lovely. But Andrew Scott is somebody who I've interviewed many, many times over the years. So when I went over, he actually did remember me, and I was in shock. And so he's just, oh God, one of my absolute favorite people. I just love him. He's so talented.
Sorry, Bonnie.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, we were talking about him last week, and the thing with Andrew Scott is he is so good and so unique. And if you look at him, his Moriarty on Sherlock is my favorite version ever of that character. Like, he did such creative things with that, and with an iconic character that like blew my mind. And then you look at him in Fleabag, where he is just the antithesis of that and completely different, and he's so perfect. And like prior to that, I'd only really ever seen him as a bad guy, because then also he's in that Bond movie, and you know, he is just so good.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. He's amazing.
Yeah, I completely agree. So, yeah, Fleabag's good. A lot of people lately have just been also, you know, putting their ideas on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and just giving people advice of what to watch. And one show I find that a lot of people are going back to or have never seen before, which is on Amazon Prime, is Friday Night Lights.
We were talking about it earlier. It's the best. Yeah, and how Tim Riggins, who's the actor again? Allison?
Taylor Kitsch.
Taylor Kitsch has kind of been ripped off in the movie world as far as like having a hit. He just can't seem to do it, because when you watch Friday Night Lights, you're seeing a star being born, and it's like so good.
Yeah, it is. So that's a really great series. Like I say, Amazon Prime has an endless amount of things. Carnival Row, The Night Manager. If you've never seen that, my buddy Tom Hiddleston in that, and Hugh Laurie's in that, and
so good.
Also a really, really good show. I want to make mention, though, there is a new show coming to Amazon on May 1st, starring Toronto's own Robbie Amell. And it's called Upload. And I just didn't even know about this, and I feel terrible because I interviewed Robbie a few months ago, and I wish I had known about this series. It was kind of on the hush-hush. But it's created by Greg Daniels, the man who gave us The Office and Parks and Rec. And Robbie plays this app developer who takes a trip to the unexpected afterlife. So basically, he's created this app so you don't die, but you go to this afterlife that's in an app. It's really cool. Check out the trailer. It's called Upload, and it looks like a lot of fun.
I like things like that. That sounds great.
Yeah. Totally bizarro. You know, like I say, it's coming from the mind of Greg Daniels. It's kind of bizarro and a lot of fun. And good on Robbie. Like when I saw the trailer, I was like, "Is that Robbie Amell? Oh my God, it's Robbie Amell!" And it just looks like a hoot. And I think they're like half-hour episodes. So look for that. That's May 1st coming at you for sure. So So there's fun.
That's Greg Daniels. Again, we've also kind of been talking this week about people with the pedigree, right? They've done stuff that has been solid and trustworthy in the past. So it's like, yeah, this is probably going to be great. And Greg Daniels is for sure one of those guys.
For sure. Absolutely. So the last service we should definitely talk about is Apple TV, which, you know, kind of didn't really have a strong push out of the gate, but I think now it's building momentum. It's getting some really good content.
I'm glad you said that, because I'm always on the fence about canceling it.
Yeah, I know.
I bought it for the morning show, and I loved it, and I watched Servant, and I loved it, but that's not enough for me to pay every month.
I hear you. They're starting to come out with some original films. Well, for example, they've just released, or they're starting to release, I don't know if you guys remember the Steven Spielberg's Amazing Stories. I think they were on NBC 10 years ago.
I did watch the first 2 episodes, and it is charming. It's going to be great for young people, I think. It's got the same thing that the original show had, for sure.
Right. They're fantasy type, you know, mystery thingies that could happen. They're fun.
They're fun.
Not deep. They're fun. Yeah, exactly. So there's a bunch of those coming to Apple TV. And then, of course, and as you mentioned, Stefan, there's the morning show, which I thought was so good. I thought it was so well done.
It's one of those shows that started to lose me a little bit, because I was like, I don't know what was going on that pulled me away, but I felt I didn't want a teaching moment from it. I wanted to see the darker side of it, and they brought it back in the end. And I was like, I was really satisfied in the end. I would watch a season 2 in a heartbeat.
Yeah, me too. I want to know where they would go with it in season 2, but I'm sure that they figured that out because they've announced they're doing one. So, Then other shows that people are just checking out. Well, of course, there's C with Jason Momoa. So that's getting a lot of. Have you watched it, Stefan? I haven't watched it.
You know what? Some shows just don't. I watched the first 10 minutes, and I started doing something else. And it's one, you know, there's no reason. That seems like my kind of show. Like, it seems a little bit like The 100, which I really enjoyed. Sort of, you know, post-apocalyptic world, or where, you know, something's gone terribly wrong. And what is it? They can't see, right?
Yeah.
Well,
and then these babies are born that can see, and then people think they're like
gods.
The devil.
Oh,
no, they're trying to get rid of them.
You know, I wish I'd stated. There's too much to watch, and if it doesn't catch me in the first 10 minutes, sometimes you're gone.
Right. You got to prioritize for sure because every day there's just new content to watch. So, yeah, I completely understand. I haven't watched Dickinson either with Haley Steinfeld, based, on Emily, the life of Emily Dickinson. Again, it doesn't really appeal to me, but I've heard it's good, and I've heard she does a great job in it. So you never know. Some people love that kind of stuff. So that's there for you on Apple TV. There's a lot of great stuff for kids, like little kids, on Apple TV that's available.
Ghostwriter.
Helpsters, that's for preschoolers, kind of like a Sesame Street type of show. So if you're looking for things too, I know a lot of people have their kids home now for, the next 3 weeks, and it doesn't always have to always be, mindless stuff. There are some educational things. And as a mom, when my kids are growing up, I loved putting my kids in front of the tube, but I knew that they were also learning too,
Yeah, you know what? You're so right. And maybe that's what Apple's really. I feel like if anyone, they're actually really focusing on that area with the little ones, and they do seem to have some really good stuff.
Yeah, so that's good for that. If it might be worth just signing up for. I think right now, from what I understand, like a lot of these services are letting people. You don't have to sign for a whole year. Like they're giving you some deals and just so that they can get some subscribers for the next month. So look into that, because maybe you can just do it on a 30-day basis and then see if you like it, and to alleviate your stress for the next little while. And they're also putting out some really good films. There's one coming out just now. It's called The Banker. And this is with Samuel L. Jackson and Anthony Mackie. It tells the true story of, it's set in the 1950s, two African-American entrepreneurs who they had to lie about who owned this building, because they were black. So they had to get somebody who was white to the police to tell them that he owned it so that they could create their own business. It's fascinating. It's really, really good. Top-notch talent. Again, it's a movie, so, under 2 hours, moves along. I really enjoyed it. It's really good.
Yeah, it sounds very, very interesting. And again, who doesn't love Samuel L. Jackson and Anthony Mackie?
Exactly.
Right?
True.
And listen, they're both in, they're superheroes as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Marvel's Avengers, these guys too. So if you love them for that, you can watch them in more of a serious film, obviously, but that's there for you on Apple TV. And I just want to make a quick mention too. There's also HBO on demand. There's so much content on HBO. Like I just finished the series The Outsider. If you like creepy Stephen King.
So the book was one of my favorite Stephen King books I've read in a long time. And the show is so creepy that Michelle made me turn it off. My wife made me turn it off. She's like, I was just raving about this book the whole way through. I'm going, you're going to love it. We're going to have such a good time. It was just so creepy.
It is.
I haven't started it yet, but I can't wait. I've heard nothing but good things. And I love creepy.
Oh, it is the best kind of creepy. It's like a Dateline gone wrong.
Ooh.
Really gone wrong. Really gone wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, the whole premise of it is so awful.
Yeah.
But
It's very creepy.
so well done. Like such Ben Mendelsohn, Cynthia Erivo. I mean, great cast. And I don't like these kinds of shows at all, but I really got sucked in.
I was so moved by the book, and I'm really enjoying the series so far. So once I can get my wife to get back into it again.
Yeah. So that's worth watching. The Watchmen, people are rediscovering that. That's on HBO, which is also really, really great. Chernobyl, these are all things that have aired already, but they're there on demand for you. Lots of great content there. If you have in Canada, if you subscribe to Bell 5. Crave has a lot of original programming and things that they get from Hulu, which we don't get here in Canada. So that's a bonus. Like I watched A.B. Bryant's series Shrill, which I really enjoyed.
Love Shrill.
Yeah. So you're giving me a run for my money, Stefan. I have to tell you. You watch a lot of TV.
I'm now saying, maybe I'm always like, man, there's too much to watch. I seem to have watched a lot.
Yeah. I'm glad there's somebody else out there that watches as much as me. I don't feel so guilty.
That's what I'm here for, watching TV.
I love it. I love it. And then there's a new one that just started this week. I've got it on my PVR. I will start it soon. The Plot Against America, which I hear is, very depressing, but really, really well done. Zoe Kazan is in that. And I also, season 3, Westworld just started, and I am sucked back in. I loved it.
I'm dying to watch season 3. I'm sort of waiting for Michelle, and I love it. I think we're waiting for Allison to catch up at this point now because she's back on season 1, or you've started season 2.
I'm now on season 2.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm working my way.
It is quality television, man.
Oh, it really is. It's just, oh, God. And they threw us a real curveball at the end of season 3, like this one, the first
really?
episode.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah, like the new Westworld where they're going to be. Holy crap is all I have to say.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
So there you go. I think I've given you a lot of stuff to think about there and to watch and enjoy.
Absolutely,
Totally.
Bon. And listen, always so good to talk to you. It is for people who maybe just tuned in. It is Wednesday. Okay,
Yeah,
Bonnie's talking to us a day early this week. But lots of great stuff. And of course, people can go to smartentertainmentgroup.com and see Bonnie with the big celebs doing the interviews. And I mean, you have years of interviews up there, don't you, Bonnie?
Oh, yeah, lots of stuff on there. On my YouTube channel, though, if you just go to, just Google YouTube, Bonnie Laufer, I have over 1,000 interviews on that alone.
Come on.
Yeah.
Go through a little YouTube vortex of watching Bonnie interview all the best.
Totally.
Oh, well, I think because I'm going to have so much time on my hands, what I'm going to do is, if I can get somebody to help me with this, I'm going to look for some old interviews that I did, like way back in the day, and upload them to my YouTube channel. I actually found my interviews with the stars of Contagion. So that's Matt Damon. And I watched it back and I went, oh, God, this so applies to what's going on here now.
I'm sick because I watched Contagion like a week and a half ago, and it's
so
required watching.
Yeah, they're showing all these types of films now again, like on TV, and I'm like, oh, good Lord. And I had forgotten that I had spoken to Matt Damon about it, and I found an old interview with him. And, I made a joke about it being reality. What if it was? And we were joking about how he wished he would have taken out money in stocks for Purell. And that alone just gave me the shivers, So,
Yeah.
so it's kind of, so I'm going to try and do that and look back on some old stuff and put up some vintage video too. So
that's a great idea. I love it. Thank you so much, Bon.
You're welcome, guys. Have a good one and
Take
stay
care.
healthy.
You too. We'll check in with you next week.
Absolutely. Take care.
We will be right back on The Breakdown, Channel 167, Canada Talks.